Well, I love Tompkins Square Park for many reasons. Uh, at this stage of my life, I love it because it's kind of an oasis in the neighborhood, and it attracts many birds, and the plant life is diverse, and the bird life is diverse, the human life is diverse, and that just really speaks to me. As I was younger, before when I first moved to this neighborhood, I loved kind of the raw intensity of the grittiness and the kind of the riots and this. So my love of the park has changed over time. I've matured as the park has matured. Well, I moved to this neighborhood in 1989, and so it was after the big riot had happened, but this park was still a homeless encampment, and the band shell was still here, and there was a lot of different kinds of activity in the park. And I was young and had just moved from Eugene, Oregon, and I was a kind of a punk rocker in Eugene, so an Oregon hippie punk. And so when I got here, this kind of just like environment really spoke to me. And there were a lot of kind of mini riots at the time, which I, like, whenever anything was happening, would jump out and run down and see what was going on and just try to get right in it. And so that was fun. It was exciting to me coming from Oregon, where we had to kind of make that scene through punk music. And then I'm not a musician. In fact, I'm a terrible musician. But I was in a band called Onomatopoeia, which was an industrial noise band. And I usually played these giant springs that come out of cars, and they come in a couple different sizes, so they have a different tone, and so I would hit those with a hammer. That was my instrument. When I moved here, I actually immediately became a part of the Gargoyle Mécanique Laboratory. I did take up the violin at the time and play with some people, but again, it was just as loud and as abrasive as I could possibly make it sound. That was fun at that time. And then the Gargoyle, was at 28 Avenue B, right across from Save the Robots, right next to the gas station, around the corner from the World.
Yeah.
So we all it was a real art scene there. Yeah, and it drew a lot of people, it drew a lot of creative people, and a lot of crazy people, and a lot of, whatever kind of person you can imagine, it drew those kind of people. And it was really great space. I mean, this for me was a meeting place before I even had a child. For example, when I first moved to this neighborhood, I met some girls who were from this neighborhood, had been born and raised in this neighborhood. One of them lived in Village View and one of them someplace else. And, they told me to meet them here in Tompkins Square Park at 2 a.m. I mean, I'd been here a week. I came walking in the park thinking, this is a joke. These are bad people. This is really, why am I here, at 2 a.m.? And then they showed up, and we had a lovely evening. I think we drank beer, as you could back then. You could sit on a stoop and drink beer. You could sit in the park and drink beer. It was all, but so it was a meeting place.
Yeah.
For me as a young adult who had just moved here, for me as a parent, for my child, and now for me as a naturalist, an urban naturalist. I mean, I met a whole new group of people as my focus has changed. I've been following the spring and fall migration for about 10 years now, and so I think there's a lot of insects in the park too, which is one of the reasons the birds are here. I think now there seems to be I've seen kind of common, or the same birds come through on the spring and fall migration. So I'd say the white-crowned sparrow, I've only seen that once. A rusty blackbird, I've only seen that once. Oh, the great horned owl.
Oh, yeah.
gosh, I've never seen a great horned owl in the park except that one time. So
where did you see that?
oh, it was at the up in the Krishna tree.
Oh.
Kind of, and that was maybe 8 or 9 years ago, 7 years ago. I don't know. It was years ago. There's only one time I've seen an owl in the park, and that was it. And it stuck around for a week. So and when you raise a child around here, if you raise a child in another part of the country, frequently you're raising them in this kind of insular, nuclear family where everybody lives together in their own little box.
Yeah.
But here, and this park provides for this, you have the opportunity for children to be together, like having a big family of siblings, and to meet a lot of different people and to grow up together. Also an opportunity for parents to be like, okay, I'm going to go, you keep my child. And it's just being raised in this kind of urban tribal way, I think is the most wonderful thing I've seen, the way children grow in that environment.